Hey everybody, it's Chris from Family Geekery. Do you love the Switch Wireless Pro Controller but don't love the price? Well, in this unassuming box, may be the answer. So what I've got here is another Prime Day deal that I picked up last week. And it's a wireless controller. It's supposed to be just as good as the Switch Pro controller, but for cheaper. Nothing much to see in the box. Let's look at the back real quick. There's a little bit of information. So it says it's a wireless controller. Its color is black, battery capacity of 600 milliamp hours, and most importantly, it's got a Type-C charging port. I can't stand when you have a knockoff controller that has a different charging port than the controller that it's trying to emulate. So let's open this up and see what the controller looks like. So inside the box we got a short USB-C charging cable, got a little instruction booklet here, and this is the controller itself. At first appearance it looks very much like the Switch Pro controller. Let's look at them side by side real quick. So you can see they did a good job making one look like the other. The most standout difference is going to be the texture on the body itself, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we compare the two controllers, we're going to first set this up and get it paired wirelessly to the Switch. So using my original controller, I'm going to go into the controller settings, change grip order, and I'm going to wake this up and press the left and right on the controller, and there it is, ready to go. The small instruction book also has instructions on how to connect this via USB. There are a couple settings in the menus you need to change, but it was quite easy. And you can see on this controller there are colored rings around the joysticks. And there is a way to change it easily. On the back there's a T button, and if you hold that T button and press the left joystick, it'll cycle through several colors, 7 different settings, and if you double click, then it'll switch to kind of a breathing mode where it's going to cycle through the different colors. And then double click again and it goes back to the solid color of your choice. Pretty nice. All the buttons that you'd expect to find on the controller are there. Everything on the face is pretty standard. You do have the standard shoulder buttons also, and then that T button on the back can also be used as a turbo button, and there's a couple different settings you can set on that. Now let's compare a couple things on the two controllers. The first thing I noticed is the weight. The weight of the original controller is a little bit heavier than the cheaper one, but not too much. The texture, of course, we said before, was a little bit different. You've got kind of a leathery feel on the original in the handle area, whereas on the other controller, it's pretty much the same plasticky feel all around, but it's not uncomfortable. That extra texture actually gives you a little extra grip on the back side compared to the original. So having that same kind of rough feel to it, or at least textured feel, does give you a little bit more grip. Another obvious difference, of course, is the colored rings on this controller. So if that's something you really enjoy, then that's a nice bonus for this one. Now let's talk about the buttons and controls, because that really matters. On the original Switch controller, the two joysticks here have a smooth action, and the click is very nice and easy, not too clicky, very comfortable, and the rubber rim around the joysticks is pretty comfortable. On this other controller here, the action of the joysticks themselves is still pretty good. It's not a horrible texture to the joysticks. It's not as rubbery, but it's not uncomfortable. But the main difference probably on the joysticks is the click. You can tell they're much clickier. Now let's talk about the D-pad. The D-pad is a little different, and I actually like the D-pad a little bit better on this controller versus the original. I can't explain exactly why, but it just feels a little bit easier and smoother for me. Now let's talk about the buttons themselves. Between the two controllers, there isn't a whole lot of difference. I would say on the original controller, maybe the buttons are a little bit higher quality, but that's to be expected. And then the only other difference is, if you don't have your letters memorized on the button face, then the original controller actually has like a white or gray button face number, and this other controller is just recessed in there. And another noticeable difference between the two is going to be the motors that are built inside for the vibration function. The only thing I've tested so far is just the turning on and off function in the menu itself. And if you listen on the original one, there's a very precise high-speed motor action on that one, as opposed to on this one. It seems a little bit more rumbly. Now with the controller in my hands, with both hands like you would normally have for playing, the rumble feature actually feels better on this controller versus the original. But I think depending on the games, you're probably going to feel a lot more precise vibration with the original. Another important feature that this controller does have is the ability to wake up the Nintendo Switch from its sleep mode. And there it is, ready to play. That's not always the case with some third-party controllers. So overall, I'm very happy with this controller. It may not be as quality as the original, but at the current price of less than half the price of the original Nintendo brand, I think it's well worth it. Maybe you've got one Pro controller for all your normal gaming, and then if you want to pick up a couple of these for some couch co-op with friends and family, then this is a good way to get everybody a wireless controller and not have to have them using a Joy-Con for some games. I will leave a link to this product in the description below. There are a lot of wireless controllers on Amazon. This one seemed to have some pretty decent reviews, and the price was right. And like I said, I'm very happy with the purchase. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you got some really good information from it. If you did, be sure to hit that like button because it really helps our channel out a lot. And if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can find some more videos that may be of interest to you. We've done some recent reviews of Nintendo Switch docks, so be sure to check out the rest of the channel for more Nintendo Switch accessories. And we've got some more coming up, so be sure to hit that bell so you can be reminded when the new videos come out. So thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out and geek out.